other question that you may have on issues other than Indian Ocean, unless you want any political questions on the Indian Ocean rim also, I'm willing to answer that. So let's begin with yes ma'am. No, can you please speak into the mic?
So Begum Khalida ji met today the External Affairs Minister, and there was a discussion also, and she met the PM also. What were the issues discussed between the External Affairs Minister and Begum Khalida ji, and also with the PM, as the terrorism issue was taken up?
You are aware that Begum Khalida Zia is visiting India at the invitation of the External Affairs Minister. And it's obviously normal that she should meet the External Affairs Minister. The visit of Begum Khalida Zia is part of our ongoing attempts of engagement with a democratic and multi-party polity in Bangladesh. The discussions covered all areas of mutual interest. They were expansive in nature, both with the Prime Minister and with the External Affairs Minister. They were extremely cordial, and perhaps I can best sum it up by what Begum Zia said at the end of her discussion with the External Affairs Minister. And let me try and sum it up. She said that this marks a new beginning, and let us look forward and not into the rear view mirror. Perhaps that encapsulates the theme of this entire discussion over the last 2 days. I hope I've answered your question, or do you want the specifics?
Like the visa that river issue came on.
Well, when I mentioned that all issues of mutual interest, I would like to specify for your record that the issues regarding mutual sharing of river waters did come up, as did the issue of border management, as did the issues relating to terrorism and insurgent groups, as did the issue of bilateral trade, as did the issue of the immense commonality in terms of people-to-people contacts and cultural relations between the two countries. Every aspect of these issues came up. Yes. Yes, Maha? One question always. You can choose.
Yes, I'll choose whether MEA has forwarded the Home Ministry's request to send NIS troops to Pakistan with regard to
This issue relates to the discussion that has previously occurred between the two Home Ministers. Our two governments are in touch on this matter, and through diplomatic channels based on what was agreed to between the two Home Ministers, and we hope to have a response on that shortly. Yes, sir. I'll answer every question. One more.
Thank you. Sir, this is Mainul Alam. I am from Bangladesh, working for Daily Ittifaq. I'll come back to the issue of Begum Zia's visit.
Sure.
Yesterday, with the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, she assured that the ground of Bangladesh will not be used for any insurgent acts or terrorism. And I understand that Indian side, especially Prime Minister, also heard this assurance. Is the government of India come to an assurance if she is voted to power and she will keep her commitment? What is the understanding of Indian side?
I will not get into speculative outcomes of the future, but yes, she did mention yesterday, and she reiterated today in the meeting with the External Affairs Minister, that the soil of Bangladesh will not be allowed to be used against violent activities or militant or insurgent activities in India. She did reiterate this again today. As regards the other question, I think it's not fair on my part. I'm not a soothsayer about the future, so I will desist from responding to that. Yes, ma'am.
Could you give us something about the trilateral India?
Yes. The third trilateral dialogue between India, Japan, and the US was held yesterday. For those of you who are very interested where it was held outside the MEA premises in a local hotel. I will not plug for the name of the hotel, but it was held outside. Yesterday there was a lot of interest where it was going to be held. Now, in terms of timing, it started around midday, and by the time it ended, it was late in the night, and that's why we couldn't brief you last night. It ended approximately, by my understanding, at around 9 o'clock last night. Now, at this point of this meeting, we've completed one cycle of dialogues. If you would recollect, the first trilateral dialogue was held in Tokyo in December 2011. The second one was in Washington in April 2012, and this is the third. So with this, each of the 3 participant countries have held one meeting of the dialogue. As regards the discussions in that dialogue, each side shared their perceptions of the strategic overview of the Asia Pacific. And there was a detailed discussions relating to the ASEAN summit, which is going to be held in Phnom Penh, as well as the East Asia summit. And each side expressed their views on what were the issues and how they are going to take this matter forward. There was a very interesting discussion on Myanmar, Afghanistan, and also Africa, and the 3 sides felt that they should consider the possibility of working through development cooperation in a combined manner in these 3 places. This is Myanmar, Afghanistan, and in Africa. This matter will be carried further. Obviously, there was a discussion on maritime security, largely focused on anti-piracy operations. I think both the visiting delegations also, in the meantime, during the course of this dialogue, took time off, and they called on the Foreign Secretary to have discussions with him. And finally, it was agreed that the next round of the trilateral dialogue will be held in Washington, D.C., and the dates and the location, will be held in the United States, and the dates and the location will be worked out through mutually agreed diplomatic channel. That, in a summary, is for you the trilateral dialogue. Yes, I know you have a question on many others too. Yes, Ajit?
So there are television reports that India-Pakistan cricket series may take place in December. If you can throw some light, deny, confirm, whatever.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen television because I was in the meeting with Khalid here, and then I came right here, so I haven't seen anything.
But
I can't comment on things that I haven't seen. I cannot comment on what I haven't seen. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sarah MacDonald. I'm from the Times of Oman in staff. Can you tell me if it's true, the rumors going around in Oman that His Majesty Sultan Qaboos will be the chief guest of honor for the India Republic parade?
Why do you want me to add to the list of rumors that you have? Yes, Vishal.
Because I want the scoop.
So yesterday, the Russian ambassador to India has talked about foreign interference in anti-nuclear protests in Kuala, and he has very specifically named Sri Lanka. Is there any evidence of external interference or involvement in the anti-nuclear stir at Kuala? What is the evidence?
I am not aware. I do not belong to the fraternity which deals with sort of report that you're talking of. I think the right people to answer these questions are somewhere else. As regards any foreign policy issue, this has not been an area of discussion between India and Sri Lanka on this matter. Yes, Shubhaji.
So there are reports about an Italian probe into the Chopper deal. I would like to know if MEA has sought support.
Yes, the Ministry of Defense has requested the Ministry of External Affairs to obtain information on the ongoing probe in Italy, and we intend to take this up both to our ambassador in Italy, who has been following this up previously, consequent to this request, we intend to take this up both through our ambassador, and once he takes it up, we will also take it up here in New Delhi.
Can you elaborate a little bit which kind of information you are requesting?
Can you elaborate a little bit which kind of information you...
I mean, it's pretty available on the record in the public domain that the Ministry of Defense would like to know information relating to dealings with India on this. So as far as we are concerned, matters relating to dealings with India and possibility of Indians being involved in this. Our need for information is limited to what is related to India, not the global part of that probe that is going on. Yes.
I'm Shobha Jyoti from the BBC World Service. Going back to Khaleda Zia's visit again, and taking you from the earlier question regarding Khaleda Zia's assurance on terrorism and insurgent groups, and given the track record of her government during 2001 to 2006, how convinced are you this time?
I think the metaphor that she spoke on recently encapsulates it all. Don't look into the rear view mirror, look forward. Yes, sir.
I came from Bangladesh. My name is Imran Hassan. What will India think to resolve the problem between Bangladesh and India, like border killing, water sharing, kinds of problem? What India thinking to resolve this problem?
On water sharing, I presume you are referring to Teesta. If that is so, Prime Minister as well as the External Affairs Minister have indicated that we are in the process of building a political consensus in India. Our External Affairs Minister also explained to Khaleda Zia the contours of his engagement on this matter and assured that it is our intention to continue this process forward. As for the present, the water from the Teesta flows into Bangladesh unhindered and uninterrupted. Yes. Can you wait for Bangladesh to come back? I'm willing to answer all the questions. Yes.
Sir, a report yesterday published on Indian Express claimed that Tokyo has officially complained to MEA that the Survey of India map shows the sea between Japan and Korea as not the Sea of Japan. Is it true, or and one more, what actually the Indian government calls this? If it is not?
You know, the issue of naming a water body that you mentioned is not new. This is an issue which has been on the international agenda for about 2 decades. It's been discussed in various international organizations, including the UN and also, I think, the International Hydrographic Organization. Now, as far as India is concerned, there is no change in our policy on addressing the water body by the name that we have always addressed it. And that name is, for the record, that we always have addressed it as the Sea of Japan. As regards your question, that whether this was raised, yes, it was raised, and we have reiterated our policy on this matter, and is the policy that I have just explained to you. I hope that clarifies in adequate terms where we stand on this issue. Ranjit?
South China Sea is a matter of concern for all the 3 countries, India, China, India, Japan. So this matter was not discussed during this meeting.
Well, I mentioned to you that each side shared the perceptions of the strategic overview of the Asia Pacific. And there are countries, obviously, who have this as an important issue. This was shared. I didn't want to list out in detail what was discussed, but then Asia Pacific covers, I presume, the South China Sea, and if that is what you want, the answer is yes. Rajiv, I know that you're silenced, but you are welcome.
US-Japan-India trilateral is a sort of follow-up of the strategic coordinator in which these 3 and Australia were involved. Now, was it on the platter yesterday, the inclusion of Australia? Is there such a proposal with again?
Not to my knowledge. Yes, yes. Please speak into the mic.
I am from Bangladesh. My name is Rashid Ahmed. I work at Daily News. My question is that you have said that during the meeting with Khaleda Zia and External Affairs Minister today, Khaleda Zia remarked that her visit makes new beginning of looking forward. What was the response from your side, Indian side?
Obviously,
How you will respond it through practically that like resolving the outstanding issues, whether the new foreign minister will visit Bangladesh immediately to expedite the dialogue, ongoing dialogue to resolve the outstanding issues. Is there any immediate plan of the new minister to visit Bangladesh?
The External Affairs Minister has said that he would like to visit all our neighbors, including Bangladesh, at an early opportunity. And it's given the priority that India places on relationship with neighbors, you can expect a visit at an early date. Of course, the dates are going to be worked out between foreign offices, and we have an annual meeting of foreign ministers. Possibly they could meet on the sidelines of some of the multilateral meetings that are there on the calendar. So don't be surprised if they are meetings in the not too distant future. Yes, Srinjoy and yes.
So Bob Blake has said that Narendra Modi, Chief Minister of Gujarat, is free to apply for a visa. And he has also said that the United States will work with whoever is in office in India. And of course that he wants good relations with the people of Gujarat. Now, does the MEA have a reaction as it's part of the center, which is currently...
I don't know what sort of a reaction you would want that a representative of another government says that they would consider to grant a visa to an elected representative of a democratically elected representative of a state in India. This is always available on record and you could have a view on that. This has been going on for 5 years. The Ministry of External Affairs view has been articulated previously and in Parliament, and I will send those details to you if that is what you want. Yes, Rajiv. Okay, sorry. Okay, Dilip. Gautam, sorry, Gautam.
Well, during the visit of Khaleda Zia, are we getting a sense of a broad consensus, bipartisan consensus is emerging on the Indo-Bangla relations, which were enshrined and mentioned in the two joint statements. One is when Sheikh Hasina visited India and subsequently after Prime Minister's visit to Dhaka.
When we invited leaders of various political parties from Bangladesh to India, that is our hope that our relationship with Bangladesh is deep and abiding and transcends anything that is restrictive in nature. And therefore, there have been several visits of leaders from various other political parties also from Bangladesh to India. And ultimately, Bangladesh and India are neighbors who will live with each other for centuries. We are neighbors we can't change. And therefore, people-to-people interaction across the spectrum is what we hope for and we desire and cherish. Yes, sir. Could we have anything other than
So a lot of discussions. We spoke about 2 countries and 1 continent, Myanmar, Afghanistan and Africa. Can you be more specific about what exactly you spoke about?
No, the idea is, no, the idea is that India, Japan and US all are interested in providing development cooperation to various countries in Africa as well as Afghanistan and Myanmar. And therefore, because as far as India is concerned, these are our major areas of development cooperation. Japan also has a huge development cooperation program with these countries. And so the idea is that if we can try and see if there are commonalities that we can work together and reinforce each other's strengths in this area. At this stage, this is only a possibility, as I said, so we have to get into detailed discussions a little later on that. Yes, sir.
Sorry, this is my second question, but it's very important. We know that India is an emerging power in the world. Do you like behavior like an emerging power and, for example, enter to nuclear dispute between Iran and the West and take a mediation role?
I get your point. Your question is that do you think India should mediate right now in the dispute that is between Iran and the P5+1? Now, our view has always been clearly stated that there are existing channels of communication, there are existing fora to discuss this. And we don't feel that either Iran or the others have asked for any other mechanisms. So if there are mechanisms which are working, nobody has asked for it, why would you think of the thing that you're thinking of? Last question. No, yes, sir. Okay, I'll answer. Yes, Manish. Sorry, I'm very bad.
Akbar, what is your position on US request to be a dialogue partner in the Indian Ocean? Do you think it complicates the region?
No. This matter was discussed between India and USA at the statutory dialogue. We have indicated as the chair of the Indian Ocean Rim countries, we will work with the other members to try and see if this is possible. We have circulated the US request and this will be discussed at the forthcoming meeting and we will take that from there. The first meeting of the senior officials is slated for tomorrow. I know Vishal already asked. Anybody who hasn't asked? Yes, Mr. Venkat Narayan. Mr. Venkat Narayan.
Akbar, are any new members likely to be admitted to the IOR-ERC? Is Pakistan one of them? If it is not, why not?
I think the IOR-ARC works on a principle of consensus and the request that is now currently being considered or is on the agenda is that of Comoros. Yes, ma'am.
Over the last couple of months, a bit of scanty information about a possible closer economic tie between India and the common market for East and Southern Africa. There have been a bit of whispers about that. Could you shed light on this? Is there such an agreement to do something, possibly an FTA? And if there is,
I don't deal with whispers. I'm pretty open, so I don't know about whispers that you're talking of. Anybody else?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, last question and we will end.
ये खड़े होके पूछ लेना.
We will have a briefing after the ministerial meeting, and that briefing will be by the External Affairs Minister, Shri Salman Khurshid. It will be on the 2nd in the afternoon once the IOR-ARC adopts its final outcome document. Thank you very much. Thank you.